Hello all my makeup freaks and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Stephanie. So today I thought I would do a little something different, and I've noticed there's been a lot of like story time videos on YouTube. I thought I would do a little story time video. It's something I haven't really done before and it looks interesting, and I don't know, like I said why, okay? Like these eyebrows, they need to be on camera. So I'm going to go back, like way back in the past, you know, like the Stone Ages, and when I was a teenager. I was around 15 and in 8th grade, I believe. My best friend at the time was already in high school. I don't remember honestly if she was in 10th grade or 11th grade. I want to say that maybe she was in 11th grade because I had been held back in 6th grade and was supposed to be in 10th grade at that point. But anyway, she was older than me and she had a picture of me just randomly in class. I don't know exactly like why she was looking at a picture of me. I don't know if like she was looking through her billfold. Never really got like that point, which I found now odd. But you also have to remember this was like back before we had cell phones. So people, you got your school pictures and your friends wanted a picture of you because they couldn't just take like a little selfie of you with them. And you know, now we're like, oh, la, 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 la. Back then, not so much. So this guy that she knew that sat beside her in class saw my picture and was like, I want her number, or she's cute, or something to that effect. So Tracy, being the friend that she was, gave him my number. Plus when she got home, of course, she like told me, oh, this guy in high school thinks you're cute, whatever, he's gonna call you. I asked kind of what he looked like. I've got like a general description that he was tall, dark haired, seemed nice enough. And that was pretty much like all I knew about him. She didn't know like a ton about him. So he called, he sounded nice, and he actually asked me out. Now, mind you, this was going to be like my first real date. I had boyfriends before, but it was more like, oh, we went to the skating rink and we would like skate around together and hold hands kind of thing. So I was like excited to actually be going out. I should say he did have a car, his driver's license, so we were actually going out on a date, I thought, and that was going to be like my first real like going out date. So my mom worked 2 jobs at this point. She worked during the day as a beautician, and then she worked at a hospital until 12 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday. So I was pretty much at home alone all the time, but believe it or not, I was actually a good kid and she didn't have to worry about me overly much. The weird thing was is this guy wanted to like actually go out the following day, which I believe was a school night. I'm not quite sure like what the hurry or the rush was, but me being me and like, oh, this is my first time going out on a date, and especially like this is an older guy and he has a car, yes. So I did ask my mom's permission because like I said, I was actually a good kid. I just kind of looked like a rebel. But I also asked my best friend Tracy, who knew the guy, to go with us just because I was 15. I was kind of scared and I had never met the guy before. I don't know that he was overly happy about that, but he didn't like seem overly unhappy about it either. So he got there, and this is kind of where the trouble started, honestly. He came and he was wearing a tux. This was like a random like Thursday night and he was wearing a tux. Not only was he wearing a tux, but let's just say he was not overly attractive. I mean, I'm sorry, like I hate to put it like that, but that's kind of like where it was. Not saying like that I'm super attractive. Well, I mean, I am kind of, but you know, he just wasn't my taste. Let me put it like this. He wasn't my taste, and he was wearing a tux, and I was like a little nervous. So I was just to say that like some of this date stuff, I did some crazy stuff. He did some crazy stuff. It was like all around kind of crazy. So at that point, I decided that maybe I didn't want to go on this date. So I started climbing through my bedroom window. I don't know quite where I was going to go to hide, but I was going to climb out my bedroom window. Now I have to say that I was a weird kid, teenager, whatever, and I climbed out my bedroom window a lot. Not to like sneak out of the house, just because like, hey, it was there. We can use it as a door. I have a funny story about that sometime, that I actually met one of my best friends while I was climbing out the window, and their brother literally thought I was insane the whole time we were friends, because that was his first impression of me. I'm the girl that climbs in and out the window. But anyway, the guy who I'm not actually going to name, because I don't want him to like find this, I don't think he would ever find this video, but I don't want him to be like finding the video and being upset, although I would think that he would know that I'm talking about him. Started climbing through the window. He came around the house and saw me climbing through the window, and for whatever reason, I guess it was a good thing, that he thought it was funny, and I guess he kind of thought it was cute, so he kind of laughed it off. And then he came, and he had already seen me, so I had to invite him in. He came in, he gave me a hug, and we were off. Tracy was in the back seat, me and him were in the front seat, and he was kind of like, you know, where do you want to go? And I was like, you know, I don't know, anywhere is fine with me. We were going to go get something to eat. We really hadn't planned out anything. So he goes to Crystal's. That's right, Crystal's. And if you don't know what Crystal is, it is kind of like White Castle if you live up north. Crystal's, they're like little burgers. So like mini little burgers, and you usually get like a sack full. You get a whole bunch of different ones. And he went through the drive-thru. This is a date, and I know like I'm only 15, but still this doesn't seem like a very good date. And he's wearing a tuxedo. So we're in the car, he's in a tuxedo, we go in through a drive-thru at Crystal's. He decides to go to my mom's work because he wants to eat with my mom on my first date in a tuxedo, getting Crystal's in a drive-thru, going to go eat with my mom. A little crazy. Like, I know at this point that this date is like over before it began. Like, there's nothing, there's nowhere that this date can go that is a good place at all. At all. So we go and eat with my mom, which is fine. Like, I love my mom, I like seeing my mom. I don't know that she kind of got like this guy's crazy vibes, which I was kind of getting, like this guy's like mentally disturbed kind of vibes. And at one point he actually told my mom, like, I'm falling for your daughter, on our first date in a tuxedo, getting Crystal's at the drive-thru, going to eat with my mom, first date. He told my mom, I'm falling for your daughter. So I'm like pretty much freaking out. Yeah. And we leave my mom. I think I'm kind of like in shock because I don't really know like what's going on. This is like really, really strange to me. And for whatever reason, he just says like it's a good thing to like drive around. So we're driving around, and you have to understand, like, I kind of lived back then. The town isn't like that necessarily now, but when it was back then, was kind of more of a country kind of thing. There's a lot of country back roads, dirt roads, just still like the town was considered country. Well, it's not really now, it has grown up, but it was back then. So he decides like what the best thing to do on this first date with him wearing a tux is we are going to drive around on back roads, like dirt roads for some reason, which I'm like freaking out. I'm like, am I getting killed? What is going on? What, am I getting kidnapped? What is happening? Then he tries to get my best friend to get out of the car just on some random dirt road. So now I'm freaking out. I know what is going on. I'm fixing to be date raped. That is what is like happening. That is like where his mind is kind of spinning. And I was like, no, Tracy, you can't get out of the car. Yeah, you can't get out of the car. It's not going to happen. We need to go home. And for whatever reason, like, he keeps driving around. Literally, he keeps trying to get her out of the car about 5 times. I kid you not. Like, this keeps happening until I say something about that I really have some homework that I need to get done. And magically, it's like homework is like this like flashbulb thing where he's like, oh, you know, I gotta get you home, you gotta do your homework, you gotta stay on those grades, la la la. So he finally takes me home. I was like, oh my god, you know, this guy's crazy. I don't know what is going through his mind. Was he just like trying to make out with me? I really don't know, because I wasn't going to be in that situation. I would say that I was also a virgin at this time. So the guy actually wound up calling me after the date to talk, and he was like, you know, oh, I had such a great time on the date. He was like, maybe next time we can do it a little, like maybe for a minute. What? Like, what? Oh my god. Like, so I don't know, like, anywhere in this date that he thought he was magically going to do it, and especially like for a minute, because like, of course, that is fine if you just do it for like 1 minute, maybe like 2 minutes. Like, what? Oh, he also said he thought it was cute that I was a virgin. Like, cute? Honey, you're never gonna get it, okay? Never. So I guess the moral of the story, number one, make sure if you're gonna go on a date that you know them a little bit. Try to take somebody with you, because I don't know what would have happened had my friend not been with me. Freaking scary. That's what it was. Like, a little crazy. I should have just like went out my window and kept running down the road. That's what I should have done. So I hope you enjoyed this story time video. I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.